Must watch. 9 dark psychology tricks that always work. Psychology facts. Modern Stoic. Welcome to Blessing of Stoicism. Today, we're about to venture into a realm where psychological power isn't about loud words, but silent authority, where influence isn't about force, but understanding, and where mastery doesn't need to be seen, only felt. In this video, we will uncover 9 dark psychology tricks that always work, strategies rooted in subtlety, strength, and control, all seen through the timeless lens of Stoic wisdom. These aren't manipulative tactics. These are ancient tools employed by rulers, commanders, and the quiet minds who effortlessly sway the world around them. The most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire. Ferdinand Foch. Stick with us to the end, because once you understand these 9 principles, you'll become a man no one can manipulate. And if you choose to wield them, you'll gain a level of psychological mastery that demands respect. The first trick is social proof. The first trick is social proof, a psychological principle that can shape our thoughts and actions based on what we perceive others to be doing. Let me explain how this works through a real-life example from 2016. I went to a store with a clear decision already made in my mind to buy a particular smartphone. However, when I arrived, the phone I had chosen was out of stock. The salesman, seizing the opportunity, showed me a slightly outdated phone, claiming it was the best phone available at the time, and even suggested that for a little extra money, I could upgrade to this phone. He then pulled the very same phone from his pocket, signaling to me that he was also using it. The image of someone from such a prominent store using the same device made me feel like it must be a worthy choice. It was subtle, yet powerful, a perfect example of how social proof works. Although the phone wasn't truly the best option, I ended up buying it simply because I saw others, in this case the salesman, validate its value. This tactic works because of our innate tendency to follow the crowd. Manipulation becomes highly effective when we see many people enjoying or endorsing something, making us feel that it's the right thing to do. This principle is widely used by marketers and advertisers who generate what we call a fake social proof bubble. Think of the glowing reviews of a movie that you see on social media or on a poster. Even if the movie isn't great, you might feel compelled to go see it because everyone else seems to love it. Robert Cialdini, in his book Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion, explains that when we're in a state of uncertainty, we naturally look to others for guidance. This is why we often turn to celebrities, friends, or social media to figure out what's right. Take, for instance, how we form opinions about people before meeting them. When you walk into a room with a preconceived image of someone based on what you've heard from others, your perception of them will likely be influenced by those prior opinions. This is why, if you boast about your accomplishments in front of friends to impress someone, your words could plant an impression in that person's mind, even if they haven't yet formed their own opinion of you. This is the subtle, yet impactful influence of social proof, and it highlights how easily our minds can be swayed by the behaviors and opinions of others. The second trick is going slightly wrong. The second trick is an intriguing psychological maneuver that often flies under the radar, yet works like a charm. It's the art of giving a bit of wrong information with complete confidence. This technique, frequently used by top manipulators, is subtle but highly effective. It operates on a psychological principle. When you provide slightly incorrect details, people are naturally inclined to correct you, often revealing more information than they intend. This tactic is powerful because it allows you to gain insights you wouldn't have otherwise. It's about creating a situation where your target feels compelled to provide you with the missing pieces of the puzzle, all while they're convinced they're just correcting a small mistake. Let me illustrate this with a simple real-life example. Picture a neighbour's aunt who wants to find out about her neighbour's child's exam results. She asks, "So, I heard David topped the class." By phrasing it in this way, she plants a seed of uncertainty in her neighbour's mind. The neighbour, eager to correct her, might reply, No, actually, he didn't top the class, but he did score better than last time. Now the aunt has not only learned the real result, but also the added detail of how David performed compared to his previous exams. This strategy works wonders because it leverages a natural desire for people to set the record straight. As a modern Stoic, you can take this psychological tool and apply it carefully. To use it effectively, you must begin your conversations with mild, subtle inquiries, questions that don't seem like they're probing for information, but rather casual curiosity. The key here is to make sure your target feels comfortable and unaware of your underlying intention. If you're too overt, they'll catch on, and your trick will backfire. This method, however, when used correctly, opens doors to understanding what people are really thinking, and often uncovers information they didn't intend to share. But don't forget, this trick is a double-edged sword. The person you're conversing with may have watched this video too. They've caught on to this strategy. They may try to turn the tables on you. The key is to stay calm and confident. If you follow this advice, you'll learn how to read people more accurately and gather more than what's being directly said. Just like in the realm of Stoic wisdom, always remember, knowledge is power. The more you understand about those around you, the better you can navigate life's challenges and relationships. Try this trick in your next conversation. Start by saying something slightly off in a confident manner. Notice how the other person reacts. Are they correcting you? If so, you've just gained valuable insight into their thoughts. If you found this trick useful, drop a comment below and tell me how you plan to use this in your life. Like and subscribe to get more powerful techniques that will sharpen your social skills. You're in control of your reality. Own it today. The third trick is reason persuasion. The third dark psychology trick to be aware of is the power of reason persuasion. This deceptively simple but incredibly effective technique involves using logical arguments to influence someone to do what the manipulator wants. The key here is not just presenting a need, but framing it in a way that taps into the target's reasoning process. For instance, imagine two homeless individuals approach you for help. One simply asks for money, while the other explains that they haven't eaten since yesterday and are in desperate need. Instinctively, you're more likely to give to the second person, not because of the urgency of their situation, but because they presented a reason, an explanation that appeals directly to your sense of logic and empathy. This simple shift in narrative taps into something deep within us, the need to justify our actions, especially when making decisions that involve others. In a more sinister context, manipulators who wish to achieve something harmful, like a criminal mastermind planning a heist, will carefully select someone vulnerable, someone who is desperate, perhaps unemployed or financially struggling. They'll present a well-thought-out plan, explaining how the crime will not only solve the person's financial woes, but will also come with minimal risks, playing on the target's fear of continuing their struggles. The logic is so persuasive, so seemingly reasonable, that the individual begins to believe that this act of wrongdoing is the only solution to their problems. It's a powerful form of manipulation, one that often leads to crimes being committed because the target is convinced that they're simply following a logical path to a solution. It's crucial to recognize that behind many criminal acts and unethical decisions lies this simple trick, the appeal to reason, turning ordinary individuals into pawns in a larger scheme. This trick works not because it's rooted in truth, but because it plays on the way humans naturally reason and justify their decisions. By understanding this dark trick, you can better guard yourself against manipulation in your own life. Be cautious of those who provide logical justifications that seem too good to be true. It's a reminder to question the motivations behind every seemingly rational request and to ask yourself whether the reasoning truly aligns with your values and principles. Stay vigilant and let your own judgment be the final word. The fourth trick is self-abasement. The fourth trick in dark psychology is self-abasement, a subtle yet highly effective technique. Unlike other forms of manipulation that rely on power, dominance, or insults, self-abasement revolves around showing humility and lowering oneself in front of others. It works on the principle that by diminishing one's own worth or displaying vulnerability, the manipulator can make the other person feel more powerful, often leading them to offer forgiveness or praise in return. This strategy can be seen in both personal and professional relationships, especially when trying to smooth over conflict or gain someone's trust. For instance, when your partner is upset with you, using self-abasement can be more effective than trying to reason with them or defend yourself. In such moments, your usual persuasive tactics may fall short, as emotions often take over rational thinking. Instead, you might say something like, "I must be the worst partner in the world. I'm so bad I can't even manage a simple relationship." This humble admission shifts the power dynamic, putting the other person in a position where they may feel compelled to console you, praise you, or forgive you without realizing they're being manipulated. Self-abasement is often employed in romantic relationships, especially when one partner feels insecure or guilty about a minor mistake. The technique works because it triggers a psychological reaction where the other person feels sympathetic and may offer more praise or affection than deserved. It's a clever manipulation that's difficult to recognize, as it doesn't involve aggression or overt control, but instead makes the manipulator appear humble and remorseful. This tactic can even be seen when someone is fishing for compliments, saying, "I know I'm terrible at this, but I'll try anyway," expecting to be reassured of their worth. As with all psychological tricks, it's essential to use them ethically. In relationships, while these tactics might initially seem harmless, they can create an imbalance, leading to a power struggle over time. What might start as a simple way to get a compliment or avoid conflict can evolve into a pattern of manipulation that damages trust and emotional well-being. Have you ever experienced someone using self-abasement to manipulate you, or perhaps used it yourself? Let us know in the comments how this technique played out in your life and how you would respond in such a situation. The fifth trick is love bombing. The fifth dark psychology trick that you absolutely need to understand is love bombing. It's one of the most commonly used tactics in relationships, and unfortunately, it's also one of the most effective. Love bombing is a psychological manipulation trick where an individual showers the target with excessive compliments, surprises, affection, and attention in an attempt to control the target's emotions, thoughts, and behaviors. While it's most commonly associated with romantic relationships, this tactic can be used in various settings: friendships, family relationships, school, work, and even on social media. The manipulator uses this tactic to create an emotional bond that feels intense and real, leading the target to believe that they found something truly special. Imagine for a moment that you're in a new relationship or friendship and everything feels perfect. The other person constantly praises you, listens intently to everything you say, and showers you with thoughtful gestures and attention. You might even feel as though you found someone who truly understands you, someone who makes you feel special in ways you've never felt before. This feels wonderful, doesn't it? The compliments, the constant messages, the surprise gifts. It all seems like real love, right? But here's the trap. The manipulator is intentionally giving you exactly what you crave in order to gain control. They know that everyone wants validation, affection, and attention, and they use that desire to bind you emotionally. This initial phase of excessive love and affection is designed to make you feel emotionally reliant on them, creating an intense bond that makes you believe they are the one person who truly sees you for who you are. Now, what happens once they've got you hooked? Once they've made you believe that you're the most important person in their world? They begin to pull back. Slowly but surely, the affection and attention that were once abundant start to fade. The texts become less frequent. The compliments turn into vague statements, and the kindness becomes more transactional. But here's the real kicker. The emotional bond that's been established makes you crave that attention, crave that affection, and suddenly you find yourself chasing after them, trying to get back to the place where they made you feel special. You're emotionally dependent on their approval, and that's exactly what the manipulator wants. They now have control. The power of love bombing lies in its ability to manipulate your emotions, forcing you into a cycle of emotional highs and lows. The sudden withdrawal of affection creates insecurity, and you'll do whatever it takes to regain that emotional security. In many cases, the manipulator knows that if they make you feel loved and needed, you'll start doing things to keep the relationship going, things that you might not have agreed to or even considered before. This is when love bombing turns into emotional manipulation. You start to sacrifice your own needs, desires, and even boundaries just to maintain the connection. They push your limits, and you allow it because you fear losing the bond you thought was real. But there's something you need to understand. Real love does not operate like this. Genuine love is not about overwhelming someone with affection and then pulling it away to create dependency. True love is built on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. It isn't about emotional games. It's about steady, reliable care and emotional support. The manipulation that love bombing introduces into the relationship is toxic because it creates a false sense of intimacy and emotional security. Instead of building the relationship on mutual respect, it is built on control and insecurity. You might find yourself wondering, why would someone use love bombing on me? How do I know if I'm being manipulated? The truth is, the manipulator often does this because they are seeking control. They might do it out of a desire for power, or perhaps they don't even fully understand the impact they're having on you. They might believe that their version of love is the best, and they think it's acceptable to use manipulation to achieve the closeness they desire. But here's the thing. You don't have to let anyone control your emotions. You don't have to accept love that comes with strings attached. You deserve authentic connections where both parties are emotionally healthy, where trust is built over time, and where you are not playing emotional games to earn affection. You should be aware of the signs of love bombing so that you can protect yourself from becoming a victim. Recognizing the manipulation before it's too late is crucial. If someone is overwhelming you with affection only to pull it away when they feel you're hooked, that's a clear sign that you need to take a step back and reevaluate the relationship. The sixth trick is gaslighting. Gaslighting is a manipulative psychological tactic that can slowly erode an individual's mental health and perception of reality. It is a subtle yet highly destructive form of manipulation, where the manipulator systematically causes the victim to question their own memories, perceptions, and sanity. The ultimate goal of gaslighting is to destabilize the target's sense of reality, often leaving them feeling confused, anxious, and insecure. Picture a situation where someone denies ever saying something you clearly heard them say. Over time, these repeated contradictions make you start to doubt your memory and your ability to trust your own experiences. The constant denial and distortion of facts wear down your confidence and self-esteem, causing you to question whether what you remember really happened or if it's just in your head. This is the very essence of gaslighting, manipulating someone to the point where they lose touch with their own version of the truth. In many cases, gaslighting is so insidious that it can go unnoticed for a long time. It often occurs in abusive relationships, both personal and professional, where one person wants to maintain control over another. The manipulator may use various tactics, such as denying events, distorting reality, or presenting a false version of the truth, all designed to make the victim feel as though they're losing their grip on reality. You might find yourself apologizing for things you didn't do, or doubting the authenticity of your own emotions, simply because someone else is twisting the truth. One of the most insidious aspects of gaslighting is that it's often so subtle that it becomes difficult to recognize. The manipulator doesn't have to openly lie. Instead, they sow seeds of doubt in your mind, making small but significant alterations to your perception of reality. The effects are gradual, but over time, you may find yourself feeling disoriented, anxious, and unsure of yourself. This slow, deliberate process can cause a person to lose their confidence, making them more reliant on the manipulator and easier to control. Recognizing gaslighting in your life is essential to protecting your mental and emotional well-being. The sooner you can spot the signs, the better equipped you'll be to preserve your sense of self and prevent further manipulation. It's crucial to trust your instincts and not allow others to distort your reality. Remember, if someone consistently makes you doubt your own truth, that's a red flag. As the famous philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This quote reminds us that while we cannot control others' actions, we do have control over how we respond, and recognizing gaslighting allows us to take back control over our own lives. The seventh trick is the foot in the door technique. The foot in the door technique is a powerful psychological strategy that many are unaware of, yet it affects us more than we realize. At its core, this technique is about starting small, often with a seemingly innocent or trivial request, and then gradually building up to larger requests. It's like testing the waters before diving in. When someone agrees to the initial small request, they are unconsciously setting themselves up for a much bigger one. The principle that drives this technique is commitment and consistency. Our minds are wired to honor the commitments we make, no matter how minor they seem. This urge for consistency is so strong that we often feel compelled to follow through, even when the later requests are far larger or more intrusive than the initial one. Think of a salesperson who, after getting you to look at a product, asks you to buy it. It might seem harmless at first to just take a look, but once you've shown interest, you are more likely to purchase. This small action, just looking, sets in motion a chain of decisions that leads to bigger commitments. But this tactic isn't limited to sales. It is used in countless situations, from marketing campaigns to personal relationships, and even in workplace negotiations. This principle doesn't only apply to sales. It's part of our everyday lives. You've experienced it, whether you know it or not. Maybe someone asked for your help on a small task, and before long, they were asking for more. The foot in the door technique takes advantage of our desire to appear consistent in our actions. Once we commit to something, we feel the need to follow through, which makes us more vulnerable to manipulation. This is a reminder to stay vigilant. It's not just about refusing a request. It's about understanding the psychological tactics that can be used against us. As Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Knowing how and why we're influenced is the first step to truly taking control. The more we understand these psychological techniques, the more we can resist their pull. In modern life, we see this everywhere. It's not just the car salesman or telemarketers. It's in our relationships, at work, and even in social media. The way someone gets us to just try their product, their service, or even their philosophy. It starts small, and before you know it, you're completely invested. Take control of your decisions. Recognize when the foot in the door is being used, and don't let it dictate your actions. Remember, being consistent doesn't mean you have to agree to everything. In fact, true consistency lies in aligning your actions with your deeper values, not in mindlessly complying with requests that don't serve you. What's one small decision you can make today to practice self-control and stay aligned with your values? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's discuss how we can all stay true to our purpose despite the subtle psychological pressures around us. Like this video if you agree that your actions should always align with your values. The eighth trick is anchoring. Anchoring is one of the most potent psychological tools used to shape your decisions, often without you even realizing it. The concept is simple but powerful. It occurs when an initial piece of information, known as the anchor, influences your perception of subsequent information. This trick exploits the brain's tendency to rely heavily on the first bit of data it receives when making judgments, even when that data may be irrelevant or misleading. For instance, think about the last time you went to buy a car. If a salesperson first shows you a luxury vehicle priced at $50,000, your mind naturally registers that number as a reference point. When they then show you a second car priced at $30,000, you might immediately feel that it's a much better deal, even though $30,000 is still a hefty price tag for a car. This is the essence of anchoring. The high price you saw first skews your judgment, making the second price seem more reasonable, even though it's still expensive. This psychological principle is not just for car sales, it happens in nearly every aspect of life. Whether it's a home purchase, negotiations, or even interpersonal relationships, the initial number, opinion, or offer you hear can act as a powerful anchor that influences how you perceive everything that comes after. It's a subtle yet effective manipulation tactic often employed by marketers, salespeople, and even friends or family to steer you toward decisions that benefit them. In fact, research has shown that people can be deeply affected by anchoring in ways that seem illogical or irrational. Consider this. When making decisions, we often don't take the time to critically evaluate every piece of information. Instead, we unconsciously judge based on what's presented to us first. This could be an advertisement, an offer, or even a well-meaning friend giving their opinion. While it may seem like a harmless way to make sense of the world, this reliance on anchors can lead us to make choices that we later regret. In relationships, anchoring can also play a crucial role. Let's say someone makes a first impression based on superficial qualities or a single interaction. If that first impression is powerful enough, it can anchor how you perceive that person for a long time. You might dismiss all future behaviors or conversations that contradict that initial impression because it feels too difficult to break free from the anchor that was set. But here's the catch. Once you become aware of the anchoring effect, you can break free from its grip. The next time you're faced with an important decision, whether it's buying something big or assessing a relationship, take a step back. Challenge yourself to question whether your initial perception is truly the best reference point, or if it's simply an anchor designed to pull you in a particular direction. As Albert Einstein famously said, the measure of intelligence is the ability to change. In the same way, the ability to recognize and resist anchoring gives you the power to make better, more informed decisions. Always trust your own judgment, and don't let the first piece of information you receive be the only thing that defines your choices. The ninth trick is the scarcity principle. The scarcity principle is one of the most potent psychological manipulation techniques in existence, and understanding its power is key to mastering both personal interactions and broader decision-making. At its core, it exploits our primal fear of missing out, compelling us to act swiftly when we perceive something as scarce or exclusive. This is an instinctive reaction, one that's deeply rooted in human psychology. The mere suggestion that an opportunity is fleeting often overrides our logical thinking, pushing us toward impulsive decisions we might later regret. Consider this. A salesperson with a sharp glint in their eye says, "This is the last item left in stock," even though it's likely not true. That single statement creates a pressure, almost a primal fear, that forces you to act quickly, to secure something before it's gone. In our modern world, this principle extends beyond shopping malls and retail experiences into the digital age, where online retailers use phrases like limited time offer or only 5 left in stock to trigger a sense of urgency. You can see it in countless advertisements, and its effectiveness cannot be overstated. It's not just about a product or service, though. The scarcity principle can be applied to ideas, people, and opportunities. When something feels limited, whether it's time, attention, or influence, we are inclined to place more value on it. This fear of losing out fuels our decisions, and it's a tool that manipulators are well aware of. They know that the more exclusive something seems, the more we will covet it, and the more we are likely to act without fully considering the consequences. You've probably felt it yourself. When a person you admire suddenly acts distant or less available, it can create an overwhelming desire to win their approval or attention, even if it's not truly in your best interest. The same applies to investments and business opportunities. The more exclusive the opportunity seems, the more desperate we can become to claim it, often without evaluating its true value or potential risks. And so, the manipulation becomes more than just a sales tactic. It taps into our very human nature. It manipulates our fear, our desire for significance, and our instinct to seize what might slip away. In fact, one of the most effective ways to protect yourself from being manipulated by the scarcity principle is to cultivate awareness and emotional discipline. Before you make a rushed decision, ask yourself, am I truly making this choice out of genuine need, or is it because I've been emotionally pressured into it? Remember, the value of something is not determined by its availability, but by its true worth, something manipulators hope you'll overlook in the heat of the moment. In a world where the scarcity principle is leveraged at every corner, whether you're navigating your personal relationships, your finances, or your professional life, it's essential to develop a mindset that transcends this psychological trickery. The next time you feel the pressure of urgency pushing you to make a quick decision, take a step back and breathe. Reflect. Is the opportunity truly as scarce as it seems, or is it simply a tactic to make you act before your rational mind can catch up? In that moment of clarity, you'll hold the power to deflect manipulation and make choices rooted in wisdom, not fear. So what are you going to do when the pressure is on? Are you going to fall for the manipulation, or will you rise above and act with intention? It's time to take control of your decisions and never let fear dictate your actions again. You are the one who decides your path, not the scarcity tactics designed to control you. Don't be tricked by false urgency. Master the art of knowing what truly matters and let that guide your choices. If you agree that your decisions should be guided by wisdom, not urgency, drop a comment below with "I'm in control of my choices" to affirm your commitment to rejecting manipulative tactics. Share this message with others who need to hear it. Let's rise above the fear and start making empowered, thoughtful decisions today. Understanding these techniques doesn't just help you protect yourself, it also enhances your communication skills. By recognizing when these tactics are being used against you, you can counteract them with clear and assertive communication. You don't have to be a victim of mind games or emotional manipulation. Knowledge is the ultimate power in these situations. By learning about these tricks, you can better navigate social dynamics. Whether you're dealing with manipulative people in your personal life or facing high-pressure decisions in business, recognizing dark psychology isn't just about defense, it's also about self-awareness. Understanding human motivations and behavioral patterns helps you build better relationships and make informed decisions. We're all constantly interacting with others, and by mastering these psychological principles, we can improve our relationships, strengthen our decision-making, and avoid falling prey to harmful behaviors. With a little practice and awareness, you can transform these strategies from a tool of manipulation into a tool of self-empowerment. So, if you found this video insightful and want to dive deeper into the fascinating world of dark psychology, don't hesitate to like, comment, and share your thoughts. What other psychological techniques have you encountered, and how did you handle them? If you'd like to explore specific aspects of dark psychology further, let me know in the comments, and I'll be happy to bring you more in-depth content. Subscribe for more engaging, informative content that will help you master human behavior and make smarter, more confident decisions in your personal and professional life. Stay tuned for the next video, where we'll delve even deeper into the mysteries of human psychology. Top 10 female weaknesses every man must know. Stoicism. Modern Stoic. Most men believe attraction is rooted in looks, money, or status, but they're mistaken. Attraction goes much deeper than that. The true advantage lies in understanding the psychological vulnerabilities that shape a woman's behavior. If you're focusing on flexing your wallet or obsessing over superficial traits, you're not playing the game correctly. The key is mastery over oneself and an understanding of the inner workings of those around you. As the great philosopher Aristotle said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. This applies directly to relationships, understanding not just what women are attracted to, but how to connect with them on a deeper emotional level. When you master the art of psychology, you gain insight into their subtle emotional triggers, allowing you to foster genuine connections rather than relying on empty gestures. So what are these top 10 female weaknesses every man should understand? It's not manipulation, but an awareness of psychological dynamics that will empower you to approach relationships with wisdom, respect, and clarity. Armed with this knowledge, you'll gain an edge over the men who rely solely on shallow tactics. Stay with me as we explore how Stoic wisdom and understanding female psychology can transform your approach to attraction and connection. Number 1. Emotional sensitivity, the double-edged sword. Understanding the complexities of emotional sensitivity is an essential skill for every man who seeks to connect deeply with a woman. Emotional sensitivity is a double-edged sword for women. On one hand, it gives them the power to emotionally bond and connect with others in profound ways, but on the other hand, it can become a vulnerability, especially when met with insensitivity or indifference. Women are biologically wired to process emotions deeply, which makes them the emotional glue that holds relationships, families, and friendships together. But when those emotions are dismissed or belittled, it can cause a deep wound. It's no secret that women value emotional connection. They want to feel heard, understood, and validated in their emotional experiences. However, many men unknowingly make the fatal mistake of either offering unsolicited solutions or dismissing her emotions as overreactions. Phrases like, "let me fix this for you," or "you're overreacting," are often well-intentioned, but they fail to honor the depth of what she's feeling. These responses might stem from a desire to help or protect, but they can unintentionally undermine the trust and bond that has been carefully built between you. This is where the true strength of the Stoic, high-value man comes into play. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions, it's about controlling how you respond to them. The Stoic approach to emotional sensitivity is all about creating space for your own calm in the face of emotional turmoil, not rushing to fix the problem. Rather than diving into problem-solving mode, the Stoic man understands that true emotional mastery lies in his ability to remain composed when emotions run high. Silence and presence become his greatest tools, signaling strength, empathy, and understanding. When a woman opens up to you, expressing her frustrations, fears, or even sharing a small victory, the Stoic man knows that the most powerful thing he can do is to simply be present. Here's how to handle these moments with grace and confidence. Step 1. Let the storm pass. Women often experience emotions in waves, and what may appear to be frustration is often masking deeper feelings of hurt or fear. Rather than rushing to fix things, take a moment to let the storm pass. Try to wait just a few extra seconds before you respond, as this will show her that you're giving her the time and space to fully express herself. This small but meaningful pause will signal to her that her feelings are worthy of your full attention. Step 2. Validate, don't solve. The impulse to solve her problems may be strong, but the Stoic man knows that validation is more powerful than offering solutions. A simple phrase like, "That sounds exhausting. How long have you been carrying that?" acknowledges the emotional burden she's carrying and fosters trust. By offering empathy instead of solutions, you show that you are there to listen, not to judge or change her feelings. Step 3. Anchor the moment. The Stoic man understands the importance of actively engaging in the conversation. Instead of merely listening passively, he reflects back her emotions to show that he's truly understanding her. Phrases like, "So, what you're saying is," demonstrate that you're not only hearing her words, but also comprehending the emotional weight behind them. This reflection not only validates her experience, but also deepens the connection between the two of you. Why does this approach work? It's rooted in science. Studies show that women often rate a man's trustworthiness based on his ability to be present and calm during emotionally charged moments. Rather than focusing on offering solutions, they subconsciously value a man's ability to hold space for their emotions, remaining composed in the face of vulnerability. This approach aligns with Stoicism, which teaches that emotional mastery is not about avoiding discomfort, but about maintaining control and presence during challenging moments. In the world of Stoicism, Emotional strength is not measured by how quickly you react to a situation, but by your ability to remain calm in moments of emotional turbulence. When you can control your own responses and provide a safe, supportive space for someone's vulnerability, you show a profound level of emotional intelligence and strength. Have you ever experienced a moment where holding space for someone's emotions deepened your connection with them? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. Number 2. Fear of rejection, the silent anxiety. In relationships, one of the most powerful yet unspoken fears women experience is the fear of rejection. This silent anxiety often fuels misunderstandings and emotional struggles, triggering reactions far bigger than the situation might warrant. Have you ever noticed how a small issue can quickly escalate into a big argument? The underlying cause is often a deep-seated fear. Will you still love me if I'm not perfect? It's a thought that haunts women more than they care to admit, and it is tied to their survival instinct, especially in today's world, where their worth is often linked to how others perceive them. From social media to dating apps and even Hollywood movies, the message is clear. One mistake could make them replaceable, leaving them vulnerable to judgment and rejection. This constant pressure makes modern dating feel like an endless balancing act, filled with doubts and hesitation. Men often assume that reassurance in a relationship is best provided by big, dramatic gestures, like promising, "I'll never leave you." While such words can offer temporary relief, they tend to fade with time, leaving behind only the fleeting warmth of a promise. True reassurance, however, lies in your consistency, your actions, not just words. Science supports this idea. The human brain perceives inconsistency as a threat, while consistency releases oxytocin, the hormone responsible for bonding. By being dependable, you send a signal to her brain that she can trust you, which rewires her nervous system to feel safe and comfortable around you. In essence, your reliability is the anchor that helps her overcome her fears and feel secure in your presence. But here's where it gets more complex. Her fear of rejection doesn't just stem from your actions. It's also deeply influenced by her past experiences, whether it's a friend who ghosted her, a parent who made her feel inadequate, or an ex who told her she was too much. These past wounds shape her perceptions and emotional responses in the present. To make a lasting difference in her life, you need to be the exception, the one person who consistently proves that she is worthy of love exactly as she is. By offering her this kind of emotional security, you become the safe harbour she never expected, a beacon of trust and understanding in a world that often feels uncertain. So if this resonates with you, show her through your actions that she is enough just the way she is. Be the person who breaks the cycle of doubt and rejection. Your steadiness can offer her the peace and trust she's been searching for. If this message resonates, like and share it with someone who could benefit. And don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom. Comment, "I am a source of safety and trust," to affirm your commitment to building a foundation of consistency, reliability, and unwavering reassurance in your relationships. Number 3. Desire for emotional recognition. She needs to be seen. In a world where women are often reduced to stereotypes, it's vital to recognize that beneath the surface, women possess an innate need for emotional recognition. This goes far beyond superficial compliments or fleeting praise about physical appearance. Women want to feel seen, not just for how they look, but for who they truly are. They crave acknowledgement of their emotions, their struggles, and their triumphs. A Stoic man understands this need and approaches it with sincerity, depth, and unwavering attention. Emotional recognition is the key to connecting with her on a level that transcends the ordinary. A true Stoic doesn't just brush off her accomplishments with a casual "good job" or nod in passing. Instead, they engage with her on a deeper level, reflecting on her efforts and emotions. Every achievement, big or small, deserves acknowledgement. Whether she shares a personal story, a victory at work, or a breakthrough in her own journey, take the time to express genuine appreciation. Acknowledge not just the outcome, but the heart and soul she poured into it. By doing so, You show her that she is valued as a person, not just an object of desire. This is where the magic of true connection happens. In your interactions, show her that her thoughts, feelings, and contributions matter. It's not just about validating her with words, but also with actions. The smallest gestures, like remembering something she's passionate about or asking how her day was, can go a long way in making her feel truly recognized. As a Stoic, you have the power to give her that recognition by being emotionally aware, present, and actively engaged. You're not just listening, you're absorbing her emotions and showing her that her essence is seen and respected. The Stoic approach to emotional recognition isn't about making her dependent on your validation. It's about building a foundation of mutual respect and understanding. You don't need to shower her with empty flattery. Instead, offer her something far more valuable: your undivided attention and genuine appreciation. This will create an unbreakable bond, one built on respect, emotional depth, and shared values. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Apply this wisdom by recognizing the richness of her emotions, aspirations, and experiences. When you practice this emotional awareness, you transform the dynamic between you. She will feel truly valued and, as a result, draw closer to you. So, make it your mission to see her, understand her, and recognize her for who she is, not just who the world wants her to be. Take this step and watch how the connection deepens, elevating both your relationship and your understanding of what it means to be a man of Stoic wisdom. If you agree that true connection begins with emotional recognition, drop a "yes" in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more powerful insights on building deep, meaningful relationships. Number 4. Need for emotional reciprocity. Why 50-50? Relationships fail. In any relationship, the idea of equality is often misguided. The truth is that relationships thrive on a delicate balance of emotional give and take, not on a 50-50 split. The key to mastering this dynamic lies in understanding and mastering the art of asymmetry. Let's break this down. Step 1. Give first. Vulnerability is your secret weapon. By sharing an authentic story like, "I failed my first business. It crushed me," you invite a genuine emotional connection without demanding anything in return. This opens the door for reciprocity without asking for it. Step 2. Track her currency. Does she appreciate a thoughtful touch, kind words, or acts of service? Maybe it's a back rub or a heartfelt poem. Understanding what currency she values allows you to communicate in her emotional dialect, enhancing the connection you share. Step 3. The 70-30 rule. Early on, take the initiative with 70% of the effort. Then, pull back to 30%, creating space for her to invest emotionally in the relationship. This tactic tests her level of commitment. If she invests, the bond strengthens. If not, you have the clarity to move forward. But be warned, too much giving can backfire and turn you into a martyr. Relationships aren't about sacrificing yourself. They're about balancing vulnerability and strength. Know when to give, and more importantly, when to pull back. Be the Stoic who leads with wisdom, not desperation. Remember, in relationships, action speaks louder than words. Comment below if you're ready to take control of your emotional exchanges. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more strategies that help you navigate relationships with clarity and strength. Comment to remember, I lead with wisdom, not desperation. This powerful affirmation ties directly into the wisdom shared in the video and encourages the audience to reflect on the Stoic approach to emotional reciprocity and balance in relationships. Number 5. Societal judgment and the pressure to conform. Societal judgment and the pressure to conform is a battle that every woman faces, often quietly, behind closed doors. It's an unseen war where every decision, every step, and every thought is overshadowed by the expectations placed on her by society. This pressure can be stifling, an ever-present force that subtly dictates how she should behave, what she should wear, and even how she should think. As modern Stoic men, we must not stand idly by and watch as she fights this battle alone. We must step in, not to control or manipulate, but to empower, support, and help her rise above the weight of societal judgment. The true strength of a Stoic man lies in his ability to offer a different perspective, a perspective that reframes the pressures of society, giving her the freedom to embrace her true self without fear of judgment. Start by publicly praising her. Acknowledge her strengths, not in private, but in front of others. Tell the world, Sam is the bravest person I know. She left her secure job to pursue her passion. These words may seem simple, but their impact is profound. In a world where women are often conditioned to downplay their achievements, your public acknowledgement serves as a reminder of her worth and ability. It not only boosts her confidence, but reinforces the idea that her value is not dependent on the approval of others. When society tries to minimize her contributions, your praise becomes a powerful countermeasure, offering her a steady foundation of self-belief. Challenge the societal norms she might feel pressured by, but do so with a sense of playfulness and support. For example, if she worries about being too loud, a simple yet impactful response like, "Thank God you're loud, quiet people bore me," can help her reframe her fears. By confronting these anxieties with humour and lightheartedness, you create an environment where she can embrace her voice, her opinions, and her personality without apology. It's not about silencing her doubts, but showing her that her true self, loud, bold, and unapologetic, is more than enough. Finally, create a space where judgment is absent, a place where vulnerability is not just allowed, but encouraged. Perhaps it's a monthly hike or a regular meetup where venting, raw emotions, and honest conversations are part of the ritual. These moments of freedom become sacred. In an environment free from judgment, she is allowed to express her struggles, frustrations, and fears without the weight of societal expectations looming over her. These are the moments that build her resilience and inner strength, the ones that help her shake off the external pressures and reclaim her power. As a Stoic man, your role isn't just to shield her from the judgment of the world, it's to create a sanctuary where she can quiet the noise within. It's about helping her rediscover her strength, her true self, and the unshakable power that lies within her. In doing so, you not only empower her to overcome societal pressures, but also foster a deeper connection built on trust, respect, and unconditional support. This is the Stoic way, to help others rise, not by fighting their battles, but by showing them the strength they already possess. Number 6. Overthinking and the anxiety spiral. How to calm chaos without saying a word. Her mind isn't broken, it's overlocked. And your role isn't to fix it, but to ground her. When a woman is overwhelmed by anxiety and spiraling thoughts, many men instinctively mirror her chaos, unknowingly feeding into the cycle. But the Stoic man remains unshaken. He becomes calm in the storm. He doesn't try to solve her thoughts. He simply provides the stability that allows her to regain control. So how can you step into this role with confidence? Let's break it down. Step 1. Name the spiral. By simply acknowledging it, you disarm its power. Say something like, "It seems like your mind is in overdrive. What's the loudest thought right now?" This simple act of naming the emotion helps to take the edge off. Emotions are like wild beasts. When we name them, we tame them. It's a Stoic principle in action, recognizing that we are not our emotions, but the masters of them. Step 2. The 5-4-3-2-1 drill. This technique is a powerful tool for pulling her out of her anxious spiral. Guide her through the process. Name 5 things you can see right now. This simple exercise forces the mind to focus on the present, taking her out of the chaos of the future or the past and grounding her in the here and now. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Shift her thoughts, and you shift her state." Step 3. Post-crisis debrief. Once she's calm, take a moment to reflect together. What helped you the most today? This doesn't just offer her a sense of closure, It teaches her that you are her safe space, her rock in the storm. You are not only the anchor during the storm, but also the calm after. This is the wisdom that separates the average man from the Stoic man, the ability to remain calm, grounded, and supportive in moments of emotional chaos. Practice these steps, and you'll not only become the anchor she needs, but also build a deeper, more resilient connection. What do you think? Have you ever faced a situation like this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Number 7. Fear of vulnerability, her hidden strength. In today's world, women are often expected to embody strength, independence, and self-sufficiency. Yet, beneath this hardened exterior lies a vulnerability, a part of her that may remain hidden even in the most intimate relationships. The fear of vulnerability is often rooted in past disappointments, betrayals, or the constant pressure to project an image of invulnerability. This fear can prevent her from fully opening up, keeping her from experiencing deep emotional connections. She may fear being judged or seen as weak, which makes it difficult for her to express her true feelings. However, vulnerability is not a weakness. It is an essential part of emotional intimacy, and a Stoic man understands how to navigate this delicate aspect of connection. To help her overcome this fear, you must lead by example. Show her that vulnerability isn't a sign of fragility, but of profound strength. As a Stoic man, you understand the importance of embracing your own moments of struggle. It's not about hiding your flaws, but rather about sharing them with integrity. Share your personal experiences of hardship, failure, and triumph, showing her that it's okay to feel vulnerable. In doing so, you create a space for her to feel safe and understood, a space where she doesn't need to hide behind a mask of perfection. Remember, vulnerability is not something to be fixed. It is something to be accepted. By creating a judgment-free space for her to express her fears, doubts, and uncertainties, you give her permission to feel without fear of condemnation. This approach doesn't mean solving her problems. It's about offering her a place to be emotionally honest. By acknowledging her vulnerability and responding with empathy, you make her feel seen and heard, which deepens the emotional bond between you. Stoic wisdom teaches us that emotional strength is about how we respond to adversity, not the absence of vulnerability. As the philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This mindset helps us understand that vulnerability is an integral part of our emotional resilience. By showing her that it's okay to be vulnerable and encouraging her to express herself freely, you demonstrate that you value emotional honesty and authenticity. In doing so, you don't just strengthen your relationship, you also empower her to embrace her own vulnerability as a hidden strength. Have you ever witnessed how vulnerability can transform a relationship? How have you navigated the delicate dance of vulnerability in your own life? Share your thoughts below, and let's continue this conversation on how vulnerability can unlock a deeper, more meaningful connection. Number 8. The need for consistency. She craves stability. Consistency is a quality many women secretly crave in a relationship. Women, more than men, are often conditioned to seek emotional security and predictability in their partners. When she senses inconsistency, her trust begins to erode, and doubts about the relationship can creep in. This is especially true in a world where many men give off mixed signals, whether intentional or not. The Stoic man, on the other hand, understands that consistency is key to fostering trust. He doesn't say one thing and do another. His actions are in alignment with his words. He doesn't just promise her the moon, he consistently shows up, supports her, and remains steady, especially during times of stress. His reliability isn't something he has to boast about because it is inherently visible in his actions. To keep her trust and respect, you must be consistent in both your emotional availability and your commitments. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you promise to be there, be there. This reliability offers her the stability she needs to thrive in the relationship. When you can be her rock, unwavering and solid, she will feel secure and supported in ways that transcend the superficial. Number 9. the independence paradox, how to be her safe harbor without becoming her cage. Gentlemen, you've probably been told that women want a strong, protective partner. But here's the truth. The real challenge is navigating the fine line between being a safe harbor and being a cage. The independence paradox states that the more you cling, the more she pulls away. She seeks partnership, not imprisonment. You have to be a source of strength without suffocating her freedom. So, how do you master this delicate balance? It's simpler than you might think. First, lead with purpose. Be unapologetically clear about your goals and commitments. This doesn't come off as controlling, it signals confidence and autonomy, qualities that she respects. Women are drawn to men who have their own lives, their own passions. This attracts her without the need for control. Next, celebrate her ambitions. When she shares her career triumphs or goals, don't just nod along. Dive deeper and genuinely support her. If she talks about a promotion, say, "Tell me how you outworked everyone to get that." This shows you're proud of her, not threatened by her success. The key here is respect, not competition. You're partners, not rivals. Finally, create alone together time. This is about quality, not quantity. You don't always have to be chatting or interacting. Sometimes, simply reading together in the same room, without demands or expectations, creates deep intimacy. It's about being present, not possessive. Neuroscience backs this up. Autonomy triggers respect, while clinginess breeds contempt. However, be careful not to cross the line into indifference. If you're too distant, she may feel abandoned, and that's not what you want. Remember, the balance between independence and connection isn't a fine line. It's a strategic game. Lead with confidence, support her ambitions, and carve out space where you can both grow independently yet together. Don't forget, being her strength doesn't mean you need to restrict her. Let her soar, and she'll bring you closer. Number 10. Fear of losing independence, the struggle for balance. Women want intimacy, but also fear losing their independence. A Stoic man understands this balance. He supports her need for personal space and growth without control. He knows love doesn't mean ownership. Respecting her autonomy strengthens trust and creates a healthy, balanced relationship. How do you respect independence in your relationship? Share your thoughts below. Hey, thanks for watching. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with someone who could benefit, and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. Got any thoughts or feedback on today's content? Feel free to drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your perspective and discuss further. Remember, these weaknesses aren't flaws, they're part of being human. The Stoic man doesn't take advantage of them, he honors them. If you're ready to start building a legacy and stop playing games, take action now, like subscribe and ring that bell. Your future self will thank you. You've been watching Stoic Thinkers. See you in the next one.